want me to order every other, or
Yeah, we can do that, yeah.
just let me know. We're cool? All right, let's get started. So, the last class that we did, that you weren't there for that, but I was really pleased with that class. How everybody was moving. So you guys wanna, the two of you, wanna revamp that for me? So let me know, what did we do?
Well, at the end, we're doing shadow
I
fighting.
don't mean at the end, I mean, what was the training before? Shadow fighting was just, a result of what you guys were doing. So, what was how did we get you there? How did we get you guys to start moving better? What did we do in that class?
Precedence, focus on your center.
Mechanics. I want to know the mechanics. What did we do in the mechanics of that class? Now, did you go home and practice it?
Yeah.
Alright, so tell me what you did.
Again, we were doing the open hand closing coming back.
Okay. And why? What was the whole concept behind that?
Concept is you do it slow, you watch yourself do it, and you develop the body mechanics, the connection between mind and body, going slow and picking up speed very slowly, but you don't lose it. Maintaining center and presence the whole time.
You agree with that? Anything else you want to add to that?
You wanna stop being like a locomotive engine with your arms, free and low.
Your comfort zones. The human mind and brain loves its comfort zones. It's really hard to break through your comfort zones. And when you're talking about the matrix of your body, it's even harder. So you guys don't realize, when you talk about drama in the world, it's because you get stuck in your comfort zones. And it puts you back into that zone where you're not actually watching yourself. The first part of what you're trying to do within systems is being able for your mind to recognize what your body's doing. So when you caught on all those other things, you bring all those variables in. Your center, all the idea of coming out slow, getting more of a movement in that locomotive, those are all your comfort zones. Why you guys will punch with one hand closed, the other hand open, and then you'll go back and forth. It is important for your brain, the gray matter, to start to see it. And in that last class that we did, everybody started really making some improvements on there. So what were one of the exercises that we did? We're going to do that a little bit. We shouldn't have to focus on it too much. We should actually get into fighting the energy walls and start to move like that. But you guys are moving well when you said the locomotion, right? So what do you do to evade that? What do you do to change that?
When you squish the black hole fly, you wanna not come at the same spot, different spots.
Right, so your positioning before. It's also your positioning before, we're gonna get into the fight classes, is also how you're gonna line up to your opponent. So if you watch a lot of mixed martial art fighting in the ring, of course it's all really cool stuff, they're out there, two warriors pounding each other. But, they're staying in the same thing. And now, there is an advantage to staying as well in the same position in a ring fighting, because if you're strong and you've got your hands this way here, it's a hard thing to get through if you're good at what you do, because every time you release a punch, the other guy releases a punch, you're already lined up for that and something's gotta come. So that's why there's a lot of dancing around. On the street, that doesn't happen. And in becoming a technician or in Mortal Kombat, that doesn't happen either. That's not gonna happen. There's gonna be no dancing around, there's gonna be no holding his positions. That's two warriors facing each other and beating each other up.
Another thing we focused on was floating. You float out rather than doing this whole locomotion thing. You float, come back.
So you wanna explain that a little bit more, what floating is?
Floating is, to me, motion and movement. Rather than trying to be tense, you're fluid. You focus on just getting to where you need to go, and from there, you come back.
So that increases speed and the hit coming back is your power, right? So is the punch that's coming out, the floating motion of what's coming out, is that like more like you're trying to keep yourself smooth, keep yourself moving through the air, and then when you hit and come back. So the power's on the back motion.
You're smooth, but this core, this center is maintained all the
So
time.
that increases your speed.
Speed and accuracy.
Right, accuracy, that's a big thing. Right, so when I talked to you, when you said earlier, when your hands are moving in different ways, you guys always come to the same thing, and your fists are always closed. So if your fists are always closed, as you come out, you open your fist up on this exercise. In real life too, basically. In real life, you're gonna be, as you get more confident in what you're doing, it's gotta be all the way in fighting. Your fists are gonna come up, but what you're moving is all gonna be coming from here, which you may play with just a little bit now, to kind of get more into the loop. So, everybody at the end of that class was moving better, and the idea when we were doing the shadow fighting, which is following your opponent, everybody was kind of getting that. So I want to stay with this program we were doing, which is we've been building on it. And I think now we're at a point where we could do that. Then eventually we could bring the legs into it, and the legs will be doing the same thing a little bit differently, a little bit harder. So when you guys get here, I try to get you guys to tell you to get here around 6:30. When everybody's here, if that's ever possible, team up and work on your legs. The stretching exercises that we do, where you're just kicking at each other. Get in there and save your other stuff for another time. Try to get here when you're working with people. Don't go in your little corner and isolate yourself with everybody's here. Work with the other person. Take advantage of another person being here and work with them. So like if you're here and nobody's here, you have fun. If somebody else walks in, then start working together as a team, because you guys don't work together enough on your own, with somebody else as a team. So take advantage of that when you're here. So work on the kicking, work on the stuff we're doing. If there's all four of you here, then get going. Work as a team. Okay, don't stand here. I'm gonna do my Tai Chi. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. If there's another person in the room, work as a team. Practice. Because you've got plenty of time to practice all that other stuff on your own. But very rarely you guys ever practice together. So I like to see that coming more into the game, what we're doing, right? Nobody's here, well, nobody's here. But as soon as somebody walks in, work on the stuff that we're working on, be consistent. And it'd be great if you guys can call each other and get together and work out, but, that doesn't really happen. So when you're here, take advantage of another person being here. So if you're here at 6:30, some of you are here even earlier because you're traveling, that's fine. As soon as somebody walks in, loosen up a little bit, they get out on the floor and start working on this material together. And I would suggest starting with the kicks. It's a great way to start off slow so you keep injury down. And you just work, how we do it, right? And just kind of practice your motion and your movement with the kicks, because that's the next phase. And the better you understand where you're coming from with that, it's going to be a little bit easier for me to try to teach you, because kicking is really hard. And we all know what I'm looking for. You've been working long enough with the knees and all that. So take advantage of you guys being here. So if you're here and you're doing something, so if you're doing your Tai Chi and you're doing that, Venom walks in, let him stretch a little bit, then stop and work together. Start working on the material and taking advantage of working as a team. Okay? You guys got that? And that will really help to improve. And if you can, call each other and say, hey, what are you doing on Thursday? You want to work out? I have to cuddle. So whatever's going on here. But right now, guys, 6:30, I have you guys get here. Usually take, here around 7, so that you guys have a little time to kind of practice. But start practicing together, especially on this material that we're doing. All right. So viewing and also combat. So when we talk about your hands doing that locomotive thing, then if you're standing here in a fight position, right? He's in a fight position. My hands are here. If I'm always here, this is good for like in the ring. But here, I'm already seeing my lineup. So when I'm going to be hitting from, if I move this way, then I'm seeing a different lineup. So what are these called, guys?
Trigger points.
It is important to when you're practicing, you can relax, to recognize your trigger points, where you're lining up to your opponent. So basic lineup, because we're going to get into blocking movements. So in this class, we also did catching, remember? All right, which was really important. So if he stands up again, so here and here, here and here, all of these, you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and maybe if he's really nasty, maybe the teeth, right? Like when I used to fight, right? So all of this is lined up. Here's where, if I'm fighting my energy walls or I'm practicing this material, my hands don't always want to come back to the same spot, right? So if I'm here, you can see this hand's lined up to this hand. This hand's lined up to this hand. This foot is lined up to this. This foot's lined up to this. Now, if I crosswire this, I have the center. This is also lined up to this. This is also lined up to this. But my hands are here. So, one, I'm doing a lineup, a direct attack with my opponent. So the same thing as when nobody's in front of you, you should be doing when you're fighting your shadow demons, we'll say, or your energy walls, right? And then I'm standing here. So if I go boom, boom, and I come back a little bit different from here to here, and I'm going boom, boom. I'm always moving my hands a little bit differently to recognize what's standing in front of me and how I'm dealing with it. When you guys practice, you get tunnel vision, and you're not seeing yourself, and that's why you're always doing this. The hand should always have a slight variation, and also from your elbows can have a slight variation, right, or where you're going to come from. So if I'm here, if I'm just playing and I'm standing straight, I'm doing catch the fly, I'm just doing this, you know, I'm kind of losing it. I'm not looking. If I'm here, I'm moving. I'm getting an idea of just, because this is very restrictive. Now, so it's a good starting point to practice. If I'm here, I have a lot of play. I could come here, I could come here, here, and all of this starts to come in as well, from the elbow to the hands. And if I'm just moving this way, right, it's just all catch the fly, boom, 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 right? I'm all just getting that whole movement and developing coordination. So coordination on just catch the fly is also developing mind and body coordination. So your brain is starting to see what you're starting to do. And you need to visualize what you're starting to do, right? And that's why when you guys do this, you're going, we'll just say, but from this position first, you're going, right? And then if you're going catch one, punch one, right? You're not seeing that, you're not opening and closing. So that's why we did it slow at first, so you could start to see that. And then if you're fighting, boom, that's how it moves. So you see I lined up? You see how I lined up here? Bam! This is how I'm moving. Boom! That's how I'm coming in. And there's different variables and different ways of actually attacking. Mortal Kombat is that you should come down with the sword first. Right? So if he pulls a knife out, he's got a knife, he pulls a knife out, you know, I'm not going to go. He comes back, he pulls the knife out, I'm just right, boom, I'm attacking it right away. Because he's already told me what he's doing. Right? Combat is combat. There's a big difference in that. And you've got to be strong with your attacks. So if he's moving this way and he pulls the knife out, my hands are moving this way. Right? It comes in, boom, it moves around. Grab the knife, whatever it's going to be. Usually I bring legs in when I'm dealing with, at least the fights that I've been on the street with weapons, the legs really come in handy, you know, if you know how to use them. But the legs do move like the hands. They just don't move as quick. They don't need to. You know, they do a lot of damage, you know. And that whole idea of keeping range with your legs, you know, like the distance and here, that's okay in theory. But in real life, when a person is moving at you and charging you with a weapon, it's a little bit different. You know, it's okay, like, oh, I have my extended point from here. So in demonstration purposes, yes. In real life, people aren't really standing still. You know, they're all constantly moving. And even in ring fighting, it's the same thing. People are not really standing still. There's constant movement. All right, so let's go over here and start to practice this just a little bit. All right, and take it from that. So I was really pleased in that class with how everybody was improving. So make a line over here, guys. Right? Okay, so the first thing is what Alex said. So in the visual, I want you to practice also, if you said, so I want you to stand straight, however you want to stand. And then the slight difference could be just slight difference, could be moving this way, could be moving this way, could be moving one hand forward, coming hand back. If you want a couple of times to go to the same spot, that's cool. Now, if you do that, let me show you a little something. Now, come out here. So if it looks like I'm coming to the same spot, this is what I was talking about earlier. Stand straight, right? And your hands up. If I'm coming this way, it looks like I'm coming to the same spot, right? But watch where my elbows pitch. My elbows start to move, and it also changes the direction. So it's not just here that you're looking at. It's also what's going on here, like and your trigger points and how they're setting up. So you'd be aware of that. If he's standing like he's fighting me, and I take my elbow and I pitch it, the punch changes. You see that? Right? If I pitch a little bit, so if I'm here, I'm coming out straight. If I pitch it, the punch changes. If I'm here, I'm coming out from here. So this is my trigger. This is coming in straight. If I'm here, and it changes again. And I can also change how the punch is actually coming out. It's going to be straight punch, reverse punch. Just in punching, open hand technique is completely, so much variables in open hands. It's so much better, right? And especially in combat. So your pitch also, guys, isn't just like I'm going to go back. I'm not just standing here going. It's also recognizing this. So if you decide to stay in one spot for a little while, start to play with these elbows. How you're lining up. Now, if I line up this way, my punch goes like this, right? If I change the pitch, you see that changes this motion as well, because they're connected. So if I change the pitch, then the punch comes out this way. If I decide to take a leopard paw, or open hand, whatever I decide to do, it changes this. So if I'm here, I'm not just going like this here, I change it, the punch maybe also crosses. So instead of like if I'm fighting an energy wall, I'm coming in a straight line, I say, I've changed, and I don't want to manipulate the wrist at all, it crosses. So I'm coming from here straight, and here I angle across, which will angle you over an opponent's weapon or hand or whatever in front of you. That's how you line up, when you line up to your opponent. So if Vic is standing out here, and he's got his hands up, just a straight up fighting, yellow zone. This is yellow zone fighting, grappling, getting into. It's also how he leads into that. So I could see that this is here, this is here. This is a nice strong stance. He's got all his weapons available. He's also got, he sees his center line, which I can take advantage of, because he's going to want to protect that. So it's easy to fake and come in, right? So all of this is lined up. So if I'm here, all of this pitch, so if I take my elbow here, first I'm coming in straight, right? If I take it and I move it in here, I'm coming in this way. If I take it and I move it here, I'm coming in this way. All of this helps direct the execution of what you got to be doing, along with visually seeing it. So when you guys start to work together, like what I was saying, like I like to see is when you get down here, you want to work on it. So which we'll be working on now, Moshe's on his way with the energy walls and stuff, and we're doing shadowing. And shadowing means trapping your opponent. So what is the purpose of sparring?
Become your opponent.
Yes. And the more you become your opponent, what does that give you? It gives you timing, range. And if you can out-time and outrange your opponent, and then if you have the power and the speed to use on top of that, you become a very, just in those variables, very hard person to deal with in combat and also, moving against who's ever challenging. You guys have the idea of what I'm doing? So here's what we're going to do. So you're going to stand here for a little bit, and I want you to go slow. So slow means, steady movement, like floating. But here, you're going to, first, you can have your hands closed if you want, but if I'm here, they got to open up before they come out. I'm floating out here. I want to see it with my eyes. Catch and pull back. So now, all you're doing is this. You see? All I'm doing is this. And you can see I'm swaying a little bit. I'm just getting the idea, but I'm looking at my hands. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing any of that speed stuff. I'm just coming out and seeing how I'm moving. So the part of the ether, this is my first attack, move through the ether, grab and come back. grab and come back, grab and come back. The thing that you guys are looking for is that your hands are coming out this way here, or as they come out, they open up. In real life, it's kind of more like what happens. As I'm coming out, they open up and they come back. So there's a whole trick to that. But here, I just want your brain to see. And if you can even hear a little clap. So you know that you're doing that. So when I'm getting to this point, my hand is this way, right? It's this way. They're open, all right? But if I close it a little bit, it's this way, right? But I'm coming out floating. It's also how you strike. So you can see that was an open and closed strike at the same time, moving, which will add that whole shock wave when you're hitting somebody. Okay? You guys got the idea? All right, go practice that a little bit. That's probably no shit. All right, go ahead, do your thing. Now make sure you're looking at it. That you're seeing it.
What speed do you want us to move at? Fast, slow, medium?
Just like what I showed you. This is all slow. So like the speed is all slow. This is, you're just going like this here. Catch, 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 catch. That's all you're doing. But this is the speed. Kind of moderate, but not fast. And just get that idea now. When you're hard, stop for a second. When you're working with triggers, they move from here. You don't redesign it this way. It has to come from your trigger. So if I'm here, the punch is going to come out this way. When I'm moving slow, I'm going, boom, 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 right? Just get the idea. We're going to play with that a little bit as well. So go ahead, just nice and slow. But the thing here is I want you to see it. Just take a visual on what you're doing. Let your brain see it. Don't get impatient with it. So, okay, stop, guys. So what's happening here is you're not coming out and catching the fly. You're going this way. You're pulling the fly. I'm catching a fly. It's a fly. It's not, it's not some big giant monster beetle that you're catching. Well, they exist in certain places, but here I'm catching. So I'm catching the fly. When you guys catch it, you're this. You want it, it's just a fly. If there's a fly there, I'm like, and crush it. Though when I do first react to something, I don't see my hands are coming up that way. It's kind of funny. It's a little teeny spider. So it goes, and I go, what am I doing? It's a little spider. You want to catch, right? Just nice and easy, catch. Right? And just make sure that your hands and your trigger points are coming back a little bit differently, and that you're recognizing those little differences, those little subtleties in your movement, and that your eyes, for now, your visual cortex is watching what you're doing. So sometimes your hands want to come back in totally different positions. Right? Guys, do some 1-2s as well. Don't make them all single shots. Like 1-2, 1-2. Nice and light, nice and easy, but make sure you're keeping your eyes on what your hands are doing. Okay, now take the same thing that you guys are doing right now. It's getting a little bit better, and go into a fighting stance. And you can switch your sides as you're working with it. Now imagine your shadow demon in front of you, your energy walls. Basically your energy walls because you're going on a straight line, and that your hitting you, right? But keep with the same pace. Do it nice and slow at first, and then we'll increase it to speed and power, right? So take your stance. So the important part about your stance is what?
That's rooted, integrated with everything.
What else? You're fighting.
It's also lined up with what you're trying to hit.
What else?
In it to win it. Gotta be in it to win it.
Presence.
Presence.
Whenever you guys get into any fighting position, whether it's straight up or whatnot, you need to have presence. So what kind of presence are we talking about? Attitude. Elves with attitude. It reminds me of a Christmas show. We're elves with attitude. One of those stupid shows, but it was fun. Attitude. So when I'm standing here and I'm coming in this way, my center has attitude. What kind of attitude am I progressing here?
You're in it.
Aggression. Violence. Right? Violence is nothing easy, no nice way to talk about violence, but if you're fighting combat, that's exactly what it is. It's a presence. It's death and rebirth, right? And reborn, right? Whatever I'm hitting is going to end and go wherever it's going to go. So I have that presence there of creation, right? And I'm standing here, so when I stand here, I watch you guys stand. It's like you're always practicing, you're never doing. I don't get it. You're not really present in what you're doing. So when we talk about combat on the street, you're walking down the street, somebody comes up to you and just wants to hurt you for whatever reason it is. You gotta have presence. You gotta be able to switch it. If you're really sick and you're crippled and you're feeling bad, it's irrelevant. Boom, presence comes into the game. Right? You should be able to fight on your deathbed. Right? Right there. So the whole idea of presence is like when I get out here and I stand, I tell you guys take a stance, and you take a stance. It's like, there's nothing there. You don't have the right attitude, or you're just not there. If I'm taking a stance, everything locks down, as we were saying. It's here, and I'm moving. And then if I switch, I'm not like, okay, let me get comfortable, let me settle in, let me do this. Okay, am I ready yet? Am I ready yet? The unsheathed sword, you're always ready. From whatever your position is in, whatever's in front of you, you're always ready. You can't do in combat on your mark, get set, go. It's just go. Somebody pulls something out on you, somebody's there, you may get sucker punched. What's the rule about getting sucker punched?
Direct, go into it.
Go, follow the direction, because you just got sucker. If you're not knocked out, yeah. If you're knocked out, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Right? You follow where the direction's coming from, If you get stabbed, you want to follow that direction because if you do get stabbed, you don't want that knife to be pulled out. You know what I mean?
Don't get stuck.
You want to hold it. There was a scene in the one movie, which was a terrible movie, it was fun to watch, Roadhouse or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Right, where you get stabbed.
So
that's tough to see.
Okay, but it was a good scene because the scene, even though it was ridiculous, because, the guy was so super tough, whatever it is. But in real life, he held a knife there. He didn't let it withdraw. Right? He got stabbed, he realized he got stabbed, he held a knife there, and then of course he made a Hollywood comment, do you really want to do this? I would have killed that guy. He would have been dead. I would have said, hey, do you really want to do this? He's gone. And I'm still holding the knife, wondering what the hell I'm going to do with it. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. I'm going to call Paramedic Vic. Paramedic Vic, dun-dun-dun-dun. Come down and take care of me, right? Okay? So, stuff like that. You need to have presence. I don't know what are you doing? You get out here and it's like, okay, see who's teaching me. Let me get comfortable. It's like, I bow in, I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm practicing presence. None of you have that. You think if you don't have that here, that you're going to have it in real life, or that somebody in front of you has to be threatening you to have it, you don't have it here, you ain't going to have it there. It's got to lack personality. It's got to lack endurance. It's got to lack so much. It's got to lack, your whole being. You in combat, you need to be with your whole being. I'm never not like that. Ever. When I practice my form, when I'm sitting here, I'm playing in the kitchen, boom, it's always there. You know, all right, sometimes, you know, Vic's around, I just play with him. That's different because I don't want to hit him in the head. Sometimes I do, but the whole point is, you know, okay, that's different. But I play with attitude, right? So I'm standing here, and you guys, when I tell you to stand and take a position, you guys aren't into it. It's like, okay, I'm practicing, or when I throw it, I'm ready. The ready starts right here. Now, if you don't have that attitude, you don't have anything. So you get guys that are fighting in the ring and stuff, you know, before the fight in the ring, you see or if they do gymnastics or anything, they're all like loosening up, getting themselves going. They have some presence there. Right? They're getting ready to get out there and do battle. I'm telling you the battle, so they see what's happening, but that's a performance as well, entertainment as well. You know, like the whole thing is geared that way. And it goes along, but you also want to perform well. So when I tell you to take a position, do you have like a lack of energy? You know? I don't know. You gotta tell you to take a position, and you just, all this comes, boom, and you practice it. Right? I'm practicing opening up and down. And if I switch, and I'm coming back here, and I want to move, I switch, boom, I come into a different idea. It doesn't have to be that this is how I'm going to fight somebody. You know, in real life, if he's standing here and he's got his hands up, right? My fight's here. So already my presence is starting, and then it's got to attack. Boom! It's got to come out from me. Then it's got to start to move, right? And I'm also lining up because he's telling me what it's going to do. That's combat. But the fight starts here. So if he's standing there, he relaxes, and he comes at me, because boom! It's all here. He's already gone. That's the unsheathed sword. You're always ready for combat. Even when you meditate, even when you speak, it's all there. But you guys have this whole attitude that, okay, it's practice time. It's presence time. I want to be present. So when I say to you, you can go back. When I say to you, okay, let's get your stances going, and attitude doesn't mean this either. That doesn't mean it's here. It should be stealth. But I should see it in you. Right? I should see it. I should see that projecting out of it. Right? In your body language. Body language is a big thing. I can tell a lot by how a person walks, just what they're about. I almost tell them like I'm a mind reader. Because your body just tells you. If you're weak, if you're strong, if you're going through things, it's so easy. Your body language is the other thing. Then your energy, your presence. If your presence is scattered, if it's scattered all over the place, I know you're having a bad day. Because I can also sense your scattered energy. It's really simple. It's no magic. Well, maybe it is a little magic. It's like Sherlock Holmes when he tells you how he figured out what you're about, and you go, oh, I didn't realize it was so simple. You know? And you get all pissed off, like, yeah, simple. You can't figure it out. You can't tell that your pocket watch was scratched so you had a bad day. And he figures it out. Oh, now that I see it, it's so very simple. Yeah? No, it's not. So when you're standing there, you've got to have presence. You've got to bring it all together. In combat, it doesn't matter if you have a bad day. Does it? It doesn't matter to the Matrix if you had a bad day. What matters is how present you are within it. So when I tell you to come out here and you're going to stand, you're going to practice this part here, boom, 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 you want to practice it with, having your center. If I'm here and if I want to move a little bit different, if I'm going to come over here, and I want to settle into it, just to keep my attitude always here. And it's the same thing in Mortal Kombat. It's the same thing if you ever have to face a battle in real life. How many knife fights have you been in, Alex? Right? How many times have you had a gun pointed to your head? Right? How many real violent people have you stood in front of? So my point is that when it happens, it just happens. You know, it just happens. You go on scenes all the time. You see hangings, people blowing their brains out. You know, he's a paramedic, by the way, right? Dun 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 dun. So he sees all kinds of horrors. But very rarely they walk into the horror. When the guy's in action, the guy's standing there and goes, "I'm going to kill you." Then it's a whole different ballgame. And then I'll kill myself. But first I'm going to kill you. And every now and then, that happens. And when it does, you better be ready for it.
Close the door and walk out.
Depending on what kind of gun he has. He may just follow your ass out the door and start shooting you. Which, you know, people do. So every now and then, circumstances happen. You sit in McDonald's, some guy walks in, and he just starts stabbing everybody with the Starbucks straw, whatever it is. Starbucks is better than McDonald's. You know, so whatever, you just never where you go. You always have to be present. Can't have a bad day. Presence doesn't have a bad day. It's just reality what it is. So stop practicing and start doing. Right? Start being. So when I tell you to practice this, you know, okay, I'm practicing. Yeah, I know I'm practicing. But I got to keep my center. So when I'm boom, I'm hitting with that same, my practice is how I actually apply myself in real life. You don't wait to get good. You have to discover it now. You know, it can't be like, oh, when it's real, I'll use it. It's always real. That's the point of your shadow demons, and that's the point of your energy walls. All right, so again, you need to have better presence in when you're practicing both here and at home, especially in front of me. Right? So when you're practicing at home, it doesn't mean intense. It just means presence, guys. You know, I'm kind of like the Joker in that. Why so serious? Serious has nothing to do with motion and movement. It's presence. I'm here. Right? I'm practicing. I'm always here. I'm practicing. So all that comes up. It'll also tell you what your body's capable of doing that day and not. Like if your legs, like, oh, I'm gonna throw this kick, I feel that I'm gonna hurt my sciatic. You know, you'll know it because your whole body's connected. You'll recognize that, okay, maybe I shouldn't kick. But in real life, somebody's standing at you, coming at you with a knife, you better be able to pull that out. You know, everything at your disposal. You guys got it? So now, when I tell you to get out here, and we did all that, and you just missed the whole thing we were doing in the beginning, which we did in the other class. So you want to stand, you want to have this. And then when I'm just doing slow right now, I'm just going to go. But this stays intact. Just because I'm doing slow doesn't mean I don't have presence. Right? And I'm keeping that. And I'm saying, if I change this angle, and I'm changing it, I'm not making things up. And I'm hitting my energy walls. If I switch it and I come around this way and I take a different position, I'm just playing, but I have presence. Slow doesn't mean, oh, I'm just moving slow, I don't have anything in until I really do it. Right? If Moshe's standing out here and he puts his hands up, boom! I'm already moving. It's there. Okay, so fighting in real life. Moshe comes out here again. Moshe puts his hands up. I put my hands up. This is not real life. This does not happen. If it does, it's for a nanosecond. In real life fighting, usually the person's fist doesn't leave the person's face before they're grabbing and going to the ground. Right? So, if he's giving himself away and he's standing there, my fight is here. And my fight's going to move here. So I can, boom, take that, go right into that. And then, bam, that leg comes up. He's gone. And I'm going to McDonald's, and I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time, but you know, walking my Starbucks straw. You guys got it? It's always practice presence. You need to practice it, not lose it. And that connects you closer to your system matrix and also the soul, the spirit. Creation did not come quietly. It made its presence known. And it just expanded. Well, yeah, whatever. Did not come. Whatever your mythologies are, it did not come quietly. See? here I am. Do something about it. To me, I'm like where Joseph Campbell, the little monkeys are hanging out. You guys are all little monkeys, and a big thunderbolt comes down, bam, destroys the tree. God. And there we go. Respect the power that is within you. Start to recognize it and use it in that way. It's not all about destruction, it's about getting to know who you are. And hopefully, if somebody wants to take that from you, maybe you got a little bit of an edge. But if I saw the Hulk out there, you know, and I was just me, and he's out there, I said, I don't want to fight that guy. And I'm sitting in my car, I'm running his freaking ass over. Boof! I got a 2-ton machine out there, you know, whatever I'm driving. You know, you're gonna die. Or you're gonna wish you were dead, you're gonna be all broken up. I mean, today there's so many different ways. It's really about coming in. Now, maybe if you saw the car coming, you can get out of the way if you're aware enough of it. How to move on the car, how to move around it, you know. But if you're just like no presence, you're just walking around like, well, you know, it's how all the time people get mugged and hurt and stabbed and raped and all this because they're just unaware. Presence means being aware. Also, always practicing for combat. Right? Always having an idea. Like, when I take a shower, I know I'm vulnerable. I lock my door, and I lock the door that's in the shower. Why do I do that? Because it's just combat. That's all it is. Because I know if a person comes through the front left door, maybe I'll hear them. If they come through that door, they have to work and have to break the door in to hear it, and then I can take action. Simple moves, simple practice. When I sit at my kitchen table, I'm sitting one way where I'm facing, seeing where I'm at here, or I'm sitting the other way. I'm just always practicing, always present. I don't know, I'm safe in my home. You're not. You're not. What if I step a Nora on and come in there and rape your ass in the shower? Like, ooh, hey, things look pretty good today. Go on, right a minute. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, but the whole point is, it's like, you just never know. So I'm always kind of aware of it, not paranoid. I'm practicing. That's all it is. All right, so when I'm telling you to come out here, we're gonna just, you come out here, you take your position, you have that presence, you start to get used to having it with you, recognizing your inner being, your essence, and then boom, boom, you practice slow. And you know, I'm practicing up and down motion. I'm getting all this. I'm not going. I'm practicing boom, 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 just nice and easy. This is also, you know, the speed I want you. Then I'm going to tell you, boom, practice like you better do it. And I should see improvement. But right now, your brain and your presence have to work together. So you need to see your hands open and closing. You guys ready? Go ahead, take a position. And just do your do, nice and slow. But remember, you're hitting your energy walls even though you're out there. Now, presence doesn't mean scowling. Or it means your whole body. Presence doesn't mean facial expressions unless you want to scare your opponent. It just means your whole body is there. Right? You're just really kind of working with the whole thing. Not bad, man. All right, you can switch your stances up and down, guys. Don't get too comfortable. You know, try some different things. So, when I say up and down, okay, up and down isn't final, like what you just did. Right? Up and down doesn't mean up and down. I go down. This is not how you fight. If I say up and down, I'm moving here, I'm moving here, I'm coming this way. I'm not here like I'm going to punch somebody down this way here. If I'm here, boom, it's punching from here, and it's always directed from where I'm at. If I want to punch and I'm coming in a down motion and I'm going to go here, my down doesn't mean I go this way and I do this, right? Because I'm going to get punched in the head. In real life, that's what's going to happen. If I'm here and I go down, it's this way, boom, and I'm punching here, direct from here, boom, bam. Then I can come up here, up, down, boom. I can move this way. Doesn't mean down, up. It means constant motion and movement and keeping your presence, right? Like moving, just moving and coming in, right? And come boom, like a freaking locomotive, right? All right, until we do the shadow, which is, you know, really gonna improve you guys a lot, which I saw the last class was really big improvement, so I wanted to stay with this based on everything that we've done before that, you know? But it's important for you to see it, like you almost hit your face that way. You see how you're curving this way? Right? It's straight out and back. A big problem with this technique is hitting your own face, because you're coming out so quick with it that you'll hit yourself. But usually you can stop it, but you know, it really does happen. You beat yourself up. Right? Just nice and slow, guys. Just get out there and grab it before you do anything fast. Just keep the presence in your body, but let your hands move, you know, easily. And pay attention to your stance. You should feel your whole stance. Is your stance like weak? Right? Is your stance weak? Is it always retreating? You know, like you're facing that energy wall. You're not retreating, you're attacking. So now, you got to do the same thing with overall. I want you to move as fast as you can with your hand open, close it before you hit the target, and bring it back. Then when you bring it back, you either reopen the hand or it's really like if I bring it back from, you reopen the hand, or my hand is slightly loose. Right? If you bring it back into a fist, you have to have that visual that you know that I'm going to open it up when I attack again. The important part of this is keeping your presence, but that opening hand closing has to be present as well. So you could have a wide opening as I come back. So I could come back this way here. I can come back. When I come back, I hit, I come back, it's a fist, and then I open it. If I keep it as a fist, it has to open and close again. If I come back loose, because I'm coming back here, because this gets you more into open hand fighting as well. And open hand fighting deals with all the ridges and the different types of hits that come along. Fist also deals with multiple shots on where you're actually connected with the fist. So if I'm hitting my energy wall, boom, how do I hit it? I hit it here. I hit it here. I know that my energy wall was hit this way. Now the next one was hit here. So I'm also targeting where my connection is with my hand hitting the energy wall. That's where the energy walls become real. Okay? So it kind of guides you better than hitting inorganic material like a bag or something like this here. You're just really starting to work and get your variables moving in that shock wave. So what you're trying to do here is when I hit, boom, all this comes in and I'm hitting. So I keep a fist, opens up, comes out. Or I come back loose. I can come back loose. Start to play with your hands a little bit. Kind of recognize where they're at, but use your visual cortex to see where they're at. So you're not doing one fist open, close, and then two close. They have to open. You're always practicing catch the fly. Okay?
So when we close our hand, is it the catch the fly, or are we closing it into an actual fist?
When you catch the fly, you're squashing that damn thing. So when I catch it, it's coming back. But I'm catching it and I'm bringing it back. So the hit is here. So if I'm hitting and I'm coming in with this, he's got his hands up, I'm hitting this way, you see? I'm hitting here. At this point here is where I'm going to close my hand. Catch the fly, boom, and that's the pullback motion, you see? Right? And that's where you create that shock wave within the body.
When you close your hand, are you closing into a fist or a percussion fist?
Well, you can close it any way you want.
Okay.
Yeah, percussion fist, you could close it tight fist. It's just, when I'm really doing this, I'm open. I'm open already. It's just moving. So here, like he's got his fight position, he's coming to his fight position, I'm moving. This was just, it's just coming in. So I hit open, bam, boom, all this stuff starts to come in. So you bring in heavy hands, you bring in all this stuff, you're kind of gone.
What's the difference between a percussion fist and a regular fist?
Regular fist is too needy. Just like what I demonstrated here, right? So if he's standing, come out here. You come out. Stand there with your whole body, right? Now stand straight. If I'm coming out here and I'm hitting this way, you see where I'm hitting this way? This is strong. Since you're a big guy, you know, you could probably get away with that a little bit more. And you got, long McGilla gorilla arms. But nobody knows what McGilla. When you're hitting percussion shots, it's coming this way. So when it hits here. When it closes, boom, it moves from here. So now, I'm kind of pushing him just a little bit because I don't want to hurt him. But if it's hitting, boom, it hits, bam, it hits here. That's where it hits, boom, and just, it's got to take you out. You feel that, right? Does that explain it?
Yes.
Okay. So, before, as you're coming here, as you're practicing this, you're trying to get your visual cortex to work. You're always going to fight people. Have you ever been had an adrenaline rush? Have you guys ever experienced that? You get dizzy, you can't even pick up your freaking arms. And when you've got a person coming at you who has their adrenaline going, plus they may be on whatever drug they're taking, you know, you're in a lot of trouble there. They're not going to go down with a simple hit, right? You got to really improvise. Some people are just really nasty. And you don't want to die, right? So when you're doing this here, you're practicing here. So that's what I was saying before, Hulk. When you're coming this way, you're coming always back to your center. I'm always have that attitude. It's never not there. So you need to practice with that presence. When you pull that all in together, guys, it's really hard to do because it's hard to keep and maintain it, but I don't practice for fun. I'm doing it. I'm out here and I'm practicing like I'm really hitting that. So all that coordination skill with my body matrix comes into play. You know, you're getting all of me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's just boom there. Whatever I am, that's what you get. So the whole point of that here is that you really want to start to see your present. You want to, now before we were practicing slow. Now you got to go boom, and you got to practice, and you got to see your body. It should sometimes feel like when you're coming back, like it's got to propel your own body out of the socket. Like boom, I have to settle it back into my center because it's too much power coming back. Right? So it's going to be hard. But I think if you practice it, it's going to do. So you understand, right, Hulk, what I'm saying? Like you're coming out this way here. Before you hit, you close your hand and hit. When you hit, it pushes into the energy wall like a force field and shocks it. And when it shocks, it comes back faster, almost faster than when it went out.
Isn't every punch we do supposed to be like that?
Yes. Everything you do. Your chops, boom, everything comes in. That's why I mean presence. You start bringing that into the game, not too many people could stand in front of you. You know, in Mortal Kombat. You go out there and you're fighting in a ring, it's a whole different ballgame. There's different things going, but you're fighting Mortal Kombat, it's different. And any person that has experienced that will tell you there's a big difference. Ask Michael Tyson. Ask Michael Tyson when he was losing that fight and bit the guy's ear. I really love that because he just went into the fight mode. He went into combat. So he can't help it. It's in his nature. He'll tell you, there's guys on the street that will kick my ass. I guarantee he would admit that. There's guys that are out there that just are insane, you know, and if they add drugs and everything to it, they're just, you know, it's just a whole different thing fighting there, right? You don't want to get hit by a man like Tyson, you know. I have a great deal of respect for that man, you know, just who he is and where he's come from, just as far as a fighter goes, but he'll tell you, I guarantee you, I don't follow any of that stuff, but
He broke his hand in a street fight at the height of his career.
oh, there you go. He'll tell you. And any good fighter worth a grain of salt will tell you. It's like that one video that came out where the guys went down and fought all the Marines. And they were all, you know, training in the Marine training, but the Marines trained, okay, so they're doing all their arts and they got killed, they got slaughtered. There was a whole video out on that. I love the guys that were doing it because they were all like, at the time, big top, you know, fighters, and they just got their ass kicked. You know why? Because they cheat. They cheat. They're not coming at you this way. They're coming at you the best way that they can. They're cheating. And then, of course, they all worked together. They worked on techniques and stuff. It was fun. But combat's different. And presence is different. And do you realize you're fighting combat every day with yourself? You guys can't wake up. You guys can't wake up without, you know, emotional breakdowns. You know, you're just crazy. You know, just always like moody and sad. Things always taking you away. You're always doing combat. Face it. Look that freaking demon right in the eyes and face it. Going on, having a bad day. You know, the hell is that? It's the world. This is about discovery. So there's more to this than just like taking somebody out. It's about discovering who you are in the process of it. Facing your demons. Because your demons are your teachers. And until you recognize that, they have teeth, they have emotional content, they have control of you. They're not teaching you anything. And therefore your life is never really belongs to you. It belongs to your limbic part of your brain and your emotional and your lizard brain. You're not getting anything in the frontal lobes. Except maybe your computer stuff.
All frontal lobe or no frontal lobe at all?
Yeah.
Not really have
Move it around in there. Get that stuff moving. Don't get stuck. So here, I'm here. Boom, I'm here. My energy walls are, bam, I'm practicing that. You guys are going to have a hard time with that because you got to see that. See, I'm not opening and closing my, it's all, but if you practice it, you'll get it. So let's do that. Let's practice it so I can drink my water. Go ahead, guys. Let's have that thing. Then we're going to take it to the next level, which would be moving against each other. That's not good. You know, play with your stances, your up and down motion a little bit. Don't get into good and plenty. You guys ever remember what that is? You know, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Everything should be a little bit different. You should know it from your center. All right, guys, so now, I didn't watch it because, you know, something, I think I've been through enough with it. Now, you two stand together and you two stand together. All right, so now you're both going to stand straight up. Stand like this. Straight up like this, right? Facing your opponent. One person takes a battle stance. Choose which person takes a battle stance. Okay, from this position, you are going to target your fight. So you should see your range, how far you are from your opponent, where you are from your opponent. You should recognize where you're standing and what stance is going to be the proper stance for your attack motion from here. All right, so relax for a second. So if the Hulk is out here and he's standing and he takes his stance, if my attack range is here, all right, and I'm going to attack, how's my attack going to be? Okay, so my attack's going to be here, right? And my attack here, boom, moves in from here. And this is where I'm going to move. So if I did that slow, my attack is here, I see that whole open target. I also see this, because we're going to do the catching thing too, right? But we're just talking about direct attack. This will help you understand your range and your positions of your stances. When I come this way here, I core, boom, and I'm punching from here. So all my punch is coming out this way. I'm also moving off the hands. So I start to see that he's also positioning himself. So this kind of gets you what I was talking about in the beginning, you know, where the unsheathed sword. You're always ready for combat. But when you guys, if he takes a stance and you're close, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. No. Or if I'm far, I'm not gonna go. Or I'm gonna go. Right? If he's far, I'm gonna move and move in. I'm seeing how I'm moving in and where I'm coming. And I'm always keeping in mind where these hands and legs are at. How I'm gonna come back with that. Okay, so this is gonna give you a good visual, and you're doing the same thing. Your hands are opening and closing. So now it gets a little bit more complicated. And now you're practicing systems from the systems, the unsheathed sword. and also your body matrix. So this isn't going to be easy. So one guy takes a position. So you both start out this way. You both stand this way. So if me and Alex are going to do it, you stand here. We both stand this way. Now let's say he's going to take his first move. He takes his position. He decides to come close. I come right from here. This is where my attack comes from. So I can't go on mark, get set, go. Okay? There's none of that. On your mark, get set, go. If I come out here and my foot moves here to here, so my whole motion, boom, moves. It all amalgamates into one motion and movement. You're still doing catch the fly. You're still practicing your percussion punches, and you're being aware of where the person is and where your range is going to go. That's combat. You know, you're fighting in your shower. Somebody comes in. You're fighting in your shower. If you wake up out of bed and somebody's at the foot of your bed, you're fighting in your bed. If you're sitting in your chair, you're fighting from your chair. Everything is right there. So this is going to help you understand that. And what are you doing throughout this whole thing?
Presence.
Yes. If you don't have attitude, if you don't recognize that presence, then the combat's going to be useless. So even though you're practicing, I'm practicing my moves, I didn't like what I did. So let's play it a little bit. So say Vic and Venom are moving against each other. No, I'm just explaining, right? Vic and Venom, and Vic makes this movement. Don't be so fast to come out of your stance. Vic may say, oh man, that sucked. What did I do wrong? So he may want to change it a little bit. So wait till the person comes back to a ready position. So if he's here, we're practicing, I go like this here, and he takes his stance, and I go, oh, that was terrible. Just stay there a little bit, and I want to practice something a little bit different, right? I want to practice something a little bit different. So you get a whole idea where I'm coming back from. But remember, always open and close the hands.
But it really should just be like one attack. Like if we're doing it well, like let's say we do it.
Yes, you don't have to do that.
Right.
Right, if you feel good about it, but if you want to practice it, give yourself the opportunity to say, oh man, what are you? Because when we bring the legs into it, that's going to be, you guys are going to be, you guys are going to want to redo it. You know, what the hell did I do? You know, okay? And then when we bring the legs and hands into it, that's when it really becomes really cool. Then you guys are there. So we're getting there, and then we're going to do the form fight. Right now we're staying with this because I want to stay with this, and then we're going to get into the shadow game fighting soon. Right now, after this, you know, the catching and moving. But this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. It will also give you an idea of your visual cortex, your range, how far you are from the other person. So when you're practicing this, guys, if he takes a fighting stance, my energy wall is in here. My energy wall is here. I should know that's where I stop. If I go past that, you're a bonehead. If you hit the guy, you're a bonehead. Right? You shouldn't be hitting him. I should come here. I'm just practicing. It's here. It's all here. So I don't need to go boom and hit him. You know, I don't need to do bang. Right? I'm just gonna play. Right? So your energy walls are here. So again, you are bringing into practice. Always, you're bringing into practice your energy. So now, if I'm here, if I take my energy wall, then he becomes my energy. It's here. Boom. I'm hitting here. Then I'm moving. This is gonna move and I'm gonna come around. So it's boom. It's gonna hit hard. You got it? So you're always practicing the same, intensity that you would be practicing. Just because I don't want to hit the guy, just don't hit him. Got it? All right, go ahead, guys. And we'll switch it around just a little bit to get an idea of standing in front of different people. Then we'll do the whole idea of what we were doing in the class yesterday or Monday, that whole movement. It should be instant. You take that stance, boom. How'd you feel about that, Moshe? Yes, exactly. So if you wanted to do it again, you can do it again. And that's what I'm saying. You guys that are newer at it, you may want to, did I like that punch that I just threw? What the hell did I just throw? Did I do the catch the fly? Did I skip it entirely? Your visual has to be all there. fight, right? They just don't come back, you know, they come back with attitude. You don't leave them floating around to space. Always come back with a fighting position. Always ready for combat. Alright, switch up partners, guys, so you get to work with somebody else. But when we do the next thing, go back to your original partners.
You want me to tell them?
A little bit more with this.
Take it over, son.
I don't wanna do.
Maybe like 5 and 5?
Alright, hold up. And when you guys are practicing this, it's just one guy goes and the other guy goes. One guy goes and the other guy goes. So when you're doing it, the guy that's standing out there fighting. So let's put the two of you out.
Okay, so we're doing 1 and 1.
Yeah, 1 and 1. The whole idea is like stand in front of each other, guys.
Okay, alright.
Stand in front of each other. Just let me demonstrate this a little bit. Just by now, who's attacking who? Who's going to be the first guy with the stance? Okay. No, so stop. Now, get your attack stance. You fight.
Oh, okay.
It should be right there.
Alright.
Right? Right there. Right? If you want to hold it, Vic, and you say, I didn't like what I did, then, you know, you as the guy that's having the, you know, the aggressive attack mode, then you could repeat it if you were, like what you just did was good, so you don't have to repeat that. If you don't like what you did, then you may want to try it again. Like if your hand's coming back this way and you're holding it up here, what the hell is that? Which is what you did earlier. You know, what is that? Right? So you need to come back always in a ready position. So if you like that whole technique, there's no reason. But then now, Vic and you now you're gonna attack Vic. Vic takes a stance. Go. It's not so easy, is it? Okay? And to keep all those variables that we're talking about, presence, how you're coming back, all that stuff coming into play. So your hands just they come back with, you know, get ready for the next onset. Alright? So if you don't like what you did, you could repeat it. But it's just go, other guy stands and goes, other guy stands and goes, and it's immediate. It's immediate action. But all those things that I'm looking for, presence, how you're coming back, are you ready for the battle if you screwed up with that punch? Can you defend yourself if he comes in at you again? So you want to maybe throw 2 punches, 1 punch, the whole idea is to practice being into it, your range and all that stuff. Remember, this is just a slice of the pie, maybe 2 slices of what we're getting into. So you want to practice these slices to get good at that. You know, then maybe you can order some pepperoni or something on it, you know. But right now you just kind of want to practice this. Stay with the program, guys, okay? A lot of variables going on here. Okay, go ahead.
Great. Okay.
So, how do you feel about that? What was wrong? There's all this delay on your attack, too. You had to think about it. There's no thinking. You see it, you take action. So, right away, this is what I'm talking about your visual cortex. You see his position. Your first position should be lining up for that, and then the attack. You see how you're leaning into it? A lot of problems here. And all that comes into moral combat. Right? So this is where your shadow demons and stuff really start to play. Right? So if you didn't like what you did, you know, well, if you like what you did, then fine. You go back and the other guy goes. But make sure you're opening and closing those hands, guys. Right? You're practicing everything we just did. Everything we just did. Right? Keeping all that, stay with that program. Right? Make sure you're feeling your center. You should feel the power, and you should be going out fast and coming back faster. And you should feel like, hey man, I'm going to hit somebody who's got to execute. It's good. I can see that your hands are moving faster, Vic, so we're making some progress there. And you're keeping some power with it. Right? Watch how you're coming back. Be a little bit looser when you're coming back. You know, get a little bit looser. Right? Not bad, Moshe. It's a long way from the Hulk, so. Watching the She-Hulk. I think they canceled her. stupid show, it was fun. How do you feel about that? That looked like all shoulders there, right? It's got to come from your center, right? So you can see, you can practice the same thing at home. You see when you got to bring that presence in all in one shot, right? Keep everything there. It's not so easy to do. That's combat. That's a little bit better, Alex. A little bit better. Good. Start guys to make some improvements. Okay? Remember, always come and project from your center. Good. I'm starting to like what I'm seeing. Right? Just relax and have some fun. You could try different ranges too, guys, when the guy's standing in front of you. It's really up to the attacker how close you can get and where you're coming from. Always attitude. Speed and power. Okay, before we move on to this next range, I want you to do the same thing that you're doing now, but all open hand. So now it's all going to be chopping, grabbing. So if he's standing here and he takes a stance, I'm going to come this way. You see? Here, this way. All right? I'm all open hand. So nothing with a catching the fly now. Just come in and boom, hit it. So this hit here, boom, went here, hit it here. If this hit, boom, I'm hit here. Right? If I come here, boom, all this comes in. It's very powerful. So open hand fighting is lethal. More lethal than this, but they're both very effective because you're kind of practicing open hand with catch the fly in your fist, how you're hitting. It all comes into the game. Now, you do your chops, but we were working on chops a little bit in that class, and you guys weren't doing too good with that. And chopping is great for cutting through. So if he's standing here, it's just good for cutting through. Just good for coming in, moving off the hand, boom, just coming in. Right? Get into that honey jar. All right, guys, go ahead. Just practice just a little bit. So you've got the speed chops in the 5-element form. Try to bring that into here just to play a little bit. Keep your presence and your effectiveness. Chops are really deadly when they're used right. Not Hassan chop or Hong Kong Fooey chop. An old cartoon, right? Or Black Dynamite chops. Black Dynamite is kind of like how I see you guys chopping. So, let's get out of that. That cartoon where he got out of his drawer. Oh, really? He's all like this here,
He's the janitor.
I don't remember too much about it. It was pretty much stoned every time I was watching that one. But the whole point was, I really liked Hong Kong Fooey. And I just lived in his drawer. Wow. That and Underdog. Ooh, wahoo, wahoo. They were pretty funny cartoons, actually, except they would say in there, not politically correct. Not bad, you just gotta loosen up a little bit more, come out with those chops, get it back. It's the same thing, you hit that energy ball, it brings you back. That energy ball brings it back. Watch how you're coming back, where your technique is, how can you defend yourself on the attack? Not everything you hit with, the person's gotta go down. Never have a favorite sword switch it up. Some people you hit, they just stand there and smile at you. You gotta switch it up. Alright guys, just switch your pose just a little bit here, so you can work somebody else will do on the shadow fighting. Alright, because that will start to move a little bit. So as you guys are doing what you're doing, I'm gonna be talking, which is normal for me. So Saturdays work okay, in the evenings for doing those, season classes? Alright, as soon as Vic gets a schedule, we could start that.
Saturdays, not Sundays?
Yeah, I think Saturdays would be better.
Okay.
Because I'll be more relaxed on a Saturday. I get less sleep, but you guys are together and move around a little bit before I get there. And then we'll do like maybe an hour and a half of form and another hour of just doing some philosophy. Right? Then I'll understand if you can't make it, but if you're off on that day, it's only gonna be like once a month, you know? And then we'll do the fight class here. When we start getting the, you guys can start fighting one another. Don't lose your power, a little bit too much twist at the end here, right? The overhand's a little bit trickier, right? Like you guys have a hard time with that because you move like stumps, right? Yeah, that's better, see? It's not, not the whole arm, it comes from the center, bam, boom, 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 right? And it's not like Hong Kong Fooey or Black Dynamite or one of those characters, you gotta be able to move, right? And you ask yourself, how effective are you? As you're doing it, would that chop really make a difference if you did hit them? If you don't feel good about it, you shouldn't feel good about it. If you don't like it, then you need to change it, right? Right, just kind of experiment. Systems within systems, guys. It's a little bit better, Alex, that was a little bit better. Right? Come from your center. Keep that aggressive, internal attitude. You have to recognize it. You can bring catch the fly into open hand work too, guys. That all comes under the category of open hand fighting. You could have open hands, come with catch the fly fist, leopard paw, tiger claw, eagle claw, hooks, all that comes up, praying mantis, crane, start to kind of mix it up a little bit. Bring it all in, systems within systems, right? Just see a target and attack it, whatever it's gonna tell you to do. You think about it on the attack, you see it on the attack, you don't think about it before it. It has presence right there.
One more time.
Okay, switch one more time, guys. instead of fluctuating your movement, you go down, you stay there, you hold that position, and it's limiting your attackability. So, if Vic is standing here, right, and I'm coming in this way here, takes a stand, and I'm doing, you stay here, you see? So if I'm here and I wanna attack low, my attack is low here, it's subtle. And I'm attacking from here, I'm not going this and staying, I'm here, it's boom, and then it comes up, down, my motion is this way, but I don't keep it here. And it's limiting your ability to move. So you kinda wanna get that dragging technique where your dragging technique's small into big, big into small. So in other words, like you want those virgins and that gold, right? You go in there and the dragon looks really small. When you get up to him, he gets really big, and you go, crap, he tricked you. So if I'm punching down, I don't need to go this way down. If I punch down, I'm moving a little bit, and my down motion is here. If I'm striking here, and I want to come up, my strike is here. It's not, I hold the position, come in, I have some play, I have some movement. They're too straightforward with it. Which also gives you the target,
Effective.
makes you a target also to get, hit in the head. Right?
Want to go?
See, it's like easy for you, because you see it's very systematic, right? You see, that's a little bit better that way. See, but you see how you go back to your comfort zone. And it has to be, this is what I'm gonna do. So there's no wiggle room. Also, that also goes with your life as well. Right? You wanna be a little bit more playful. Not bad, loosening up. Big improvement from,
Okay.
right? If you don't like the power that you're striking with, you shouldn't like it. If you don't like it, then you're not doing it right. It's something you need to work on, right? If you don't like what you just, I moved okay, but the hitting power isn't there, then it's not working for you. You gotta like what you do. Maybe not here because you're practicing it, but at home when you're practicing with your shadow demons and your energy walls, you should really feel it generate. So that's why it's always nice to practice with your invisible friend. Just like when you guys masturbate. Right?
I like that invisible friend better.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's invisible friends.
Yeah. Right? It's really bad when somebody comes in and it steals your imaginary friends, My imaginary friends didn't want to be around me anymore. Guy just took them away.
He's
Right,
not
guys,
yourself,
keep going. Right.
Sometimes you want to hit the imaginary friend when you masturbate too.
A little stage
Fine,
masochism
do that.
going on, that's okay. All right, guys, so now, get an idea. These are all venues for you to practice on. And when you're actually moving along with your shadow demons and your energy walls and freestyling it, you should really bring this into play. All right, so there's a whole idea and concept of blocking in combat. Not like you see in the movies, and we're not going to do that today, because that's work in itself. But blocking is great, but it doesn't work like in the movies or with the guys in this. It's really executing and fighting at the same time. There's 3 different strategies to fight, right? There's waiting for something to throw something at you, which is not really great for with weapon fighting or anything like that, but most people do it, they try to time it, right? That's okay, like seeing what it is, it's not really what you want to do, but, and there's just attacking first, but really it all comes into the game of attacking at the same time. So everything is happening at one moment at the same time. They're not just blocking and then punching. It all happens together. So to kind of work with this a little bit, you got to bring in what you're doing here. You got to move against each other. You can stay with your partners now just a little bit. but now you're gonna catch. Remember we did that? So you're gonna catch. So your hands now, as the person's throwing these punches at you, you gotta reposition, right? So if he's standing here, we bow in, right? And we go here, and then I'm gonna punch, and he's gonna, now he punches, and I'm just getting my visual, but I'm catching this way. There's no, catching like this here, I'm catching like a baseball. So I'm working on my visual cortex, and it's not about, he throws his hand slow, I'm not gonna go this way. I'm not literally trying to catch it, right? Okay? Alright, though I have done that in real life. It's kind of funny, the guy throws his fists because they're so slow, and I just catch him, I'm just standing there, and all I gotta do is just twist, and it's pretty funny, because people move like turtles. So the whole thing is that you're just catching. So now if he throws his punches, I'm just catching, right? But you're gonna throw it with what we're doing here. So you're gonna have the same speed. You could do open hand, you could do catch the fly, you could do whatever you want. And then you reposition and you do it again. Or you stay in that position and you just throw it in, so you gotta get a feel for each other. Like how you move, like your imaginary friend. Get a feel for them. Sometimes you want to punch them when you're masturbating, right? So here you go. So you want to move around, right? You gotta get a feel for them. So if I'm standing here and he throws his technique and I'm catching, go ahead, throw some. And then I just stick, and I throw mine. He didn't do a very good job catching that, but he should have caught that. At least have the idea of where he's coming from. So he's gonna catch me again, right? I'm already out and back, and he goes. So this is where it's gonna help you with your eye coordination. It's not about blocking here, it's about improving your visual cortex, because you guys gotta see you're very bad at this. Right? Keep your center, keep everything here, and try to catch. The fly's coming right at you, and you catch it. You guys got the idea? Simple. Any questions, Vic? He's like a little Buddha turtle sitting down there, right? And then he gets just a little dragon, and he gets really big, because Vic's pretty tall. See, I can use dragon technique from there. Ooh, I want the version to the goal. And I was like, ooh, and you go, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Right? You guys got the idea? And we'll switch you around. So be a little bit playful with your catching. Your attack motion should be everything that you're trying to do here. Okay? And all you guys are trying to do is just line yourself up visually with what's coming at you. It will make big improvements on your visual cortex. Okay? You guys got the ideas? Anything that you don't understand that we just did? Okay, let's go. So your speed has to be as fast as you can go. Right? And then if the guy goes like this, like what you did, I come back and then you go, okay, it's all that Spider-Man. We're just watching that punch go by, right? So you get to play with it a little bit, and you get your visual cortex, and it will expand throughout your body matrix. You gotta kind of tether it all together. All right, you guys ready? Okay, go ahead. Do you do? Stay with the partners you're at now, and then we'll switch you around. And this gets a little fun.
So
This will lead into the combat. Next, once you get this a little bit better, we're going to talk about blocking, get you guys doing it, and coming in at each other. And we'll also get into the grappling and takedowns and all that other stuff too.
So we're just kind of like 1-on-1, like I'm throwing and then he's throwing and we're just going back.
Yeah, reposition yourself. Kind of be playful. You don't just go, but
So
eventually you guys are just going. Yeah, it's real. This technique, as far as going here, you shouldn't have to call it. You just go, and the other guy goes, and you move.
Okay.
You come kind of almost like sparring, but you gotta let the other guy, when he throws, you gotta let him throw, and you gotta catch. Okay, you can't attack him at the same time he's attacking. That's coming down the line. What I was just talking about. So you want to play, but you really practice it. So you kind of read each other, you move, you kind of enjoy each other moving around, right? Okay. Okay, go ahead, guys. Kind of get a rhythm to it, But you're always taking different positions, moving in, just playing. So,
does it all have to be open hand again?
It could be anything you want, but you can't be standing like this here, which is okay when you have prairie mantis, okay, all right? But when you come back, so you want to come back like you're fighting the position. If you're here, you're also giving everything away. Catching means it means catching. If he's standing here and he's got his stance here and I'm catching and I just go, he throws and I'm just doing this, this is not what I want, right? If I'm catching, I'm catching, right? I'm moving, I'm seeing where I'm at. And then when I punch and see if he can catch. And I'm already back on it. So that's why I also wanted you to bring that in. You just got 3 shots to the head, and now boom, coming in this way. So you just kind of want to work with your coordination. Yes, you're right, because blocking is as easy as this. If he's standing there and I'm blocking and he comes at me, I could just stand here, you know? But I want you to catch because we're working on your visual cortex. We're trying to get your brain to start to see things more. So you don't want to just stay here. You know, you kind of like, if I'm attacking him, and now I'm back, and now I'm here. So now he attacks me, I'm moving here, you know, it's like I'm playing. So you kind of like hands, different positions, you know, be a little bit more playful, make it harder for you to see with your visual. You know, make your brain work. Okay, go ahead. Right. It's great for range too, and it really works on your range with just, you know, walking and seeing things as you're walking. Well, it's like go, attack, boom. Go, attack, boom. It's like one attacks, block, you know, or catch. We'll call it catching. One attacks, well, you don't just stand there, just go each time. So you reposition, boom, strike, and now it's his turn to go. Go. Right? And now it's his turn to go. Go. Okay, and you guys can see you're not doing great at it, but you get an idea what I'm talking about. Right? Kind of brings it all, also kind of like ring fighting into the game. So this is also training for those fight classes that you guys want to do. As far as, you know, when you put on the gloves and the, you know, all the gear. To be honest with you guys, the gear, once we get it together and we find out where the gear is coming from, you guys can all make one bulk order. You can either use the gear or not use the gear. I don't care. If we're here, you gotta use the gear because I don't want to pull it on this road. Up to you. You gotta feel power in what you're throwing. No. It's just one attack. Boom, boom, boom. And stop. Then it's your turn.
So it's more like a 4-4.
No, it's not 4-4. It could be one move. It could
More
be
like-
two. Yeah,
more
and
like-
just stop. Yeah, just stop and go. Just you don't keep going.
So you're not
So it's like, okay, stand in front. Like what we were doing earlier when you guys were just standing in front of me, just doing instantaneous fighting.
yeah.
It's the same thing here. Read the position, go. Then the next guy goes. And then you can reposition if you want, or you can reposition in that. You don't keep going. Don't keep going. You're gonna really isolate the movement. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Do you? Do you understand what I'm saying? So he's gotta go into the bathroom. So balance each other.
Because he could give a crap.
I like that. Very good. That's seafood humor. You're learning a bit. All right. So you position here. Now, so Venom attack him, and he's gonna catch. All right. You're not really giving him too much work. Vic's just standing there with his Magilla gorilla arms. He's not working too hard at it. Now, Vic, you can either go from here, or you can reposition. Now it's his turn, and now you attack. Right? There you go. And you can see where how you're. All right. So now you can stay there, Venom, and you can attack, or you can reposition yourself and attack. He just always has to be ready. Right. There you go, guys. There you go. The whole idea of the catching is just to get your eye and hand coordination to work together. That's all that is. The rest of the stuff that you're trying to do, like we did in the beginning of the class, you're trying to improvise that into the class itself. Now I want you, Hope, to go attack Alex while he's sitting on the john in the bathroom now. Literally scare the crap out of him. And let's see if he's ready for combat when he should always be ready. When are you the most vulnerable? Yes. Or when you're sitting at the latrine, right? You're standing there with your penis hanging out, and somebody could just walk behind you. You know, just take that pee all over him if you have to. I remember my father, I don't remember this, but I remember my story about my dad. He was teaching me how to pee. Right? He goes, my mom goes, you gotta show your boy how to pee. He goes, okay, so he's standing over there. My father was well endowed. And he's standing there, right? He's like this here. And I don't remember this, but I remember him telling me the story. He goes, okay, now watch what I'm doing. As he's about to pee, I go, okay, Dad. And I put my face right. And he goes, ah! He said, now watch what I'm doing. Okay, right in front of you. Yeah, pretty funny. Alright, so yeah, you use everything you got, man. You're sitting there, or I told you the story when that crazy woman came in, my father, and you know. So my whole point is, you know, you're ready for combat any time. You always practice. It's called mindfulness. Mindfulness of your surroundings, mindfulness of this, mindfulness of that. There's no place where you're safe. You're not safe, especially when you live with a crazy seafood. One day, you know, I'm just gonna run into. Are you ready? That crotch got me flying all over, fat pee everywhere.
Just throw it
You know,
at
ah!
I'll just throw it.
Yeah, just always be present, guys. Try to always be present if you can.
Catch
We
a
all
lot of
lose
breath.
it. Nobody's perfect, you know, but the more you're mindful with it, and I'm not talking like mindful stupidity, mindful like you watch in Hollywood. But I do that. If I walk into and I'm in a Starbucks or someplace like that, I survey the situation and I see who could possibly be a threat or who knows how to fight. Like this guy knows how to fight. So I'm thinking like if there's some big fight breaks out, I'm gonna have this guy help me out. You know, like I'm not looking, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna say I'm gonna make him part of the team. Right? Like who in there has some fighting abilities? Who in there's not just a threat, but also recognizing them. So I'm always practicing. This is really good mindfulness. You know, when you sit down at a table, what's around you? You know, which is the game I wanted to talk to you about too. So you stop knocking things over and play a game. It's not decisive framework, so it'll be great. So you'll always be like my dad, but it'll be fun to play. All right, you guys ready? Go. Yeah, you got it. Took a little while. You can see how this is going to work when you guys get into your kicking. Kicking a whole new chi. A lot more chi has to come into kicking. All right, guys, switch it up a little bit. Get with somebody else. Remember in that class we also had 2 guys against 1, right? Okay. Comfortable, start sticking with your movement. But remember, keep with the program that opening and closing your hands. If you're doing the catch the fly, I'm really just bringing that in. Same with your chopping, grabbing. Make sure your stances are lining up with your opponent, right? How you want to come in with your attack. See the whole visual. So you can see where you're having problems with your stance work, right? right? So you've gotta develop your stance work according to your opponent, not to what your mechanics are telling you to do. So you're just going into your comfort zone. So if he's standing here, right, and I'm doing you, right, and you're just this way, and then he moves, right, and then he moves this way, you see? Not even that good, right? So what I'm doing here, what you need to do more of, all you guys, if he's here, and we take, and then he moves, I'm moving to him. So you see how my stance is here? So now if I was gonna throw a kick or whatever, so I can see that his knee is accessible. He also has a quick snap kick. To bring that kick up, I can easily break his foot. Right, all that's coming into play. He's gonna bring that kick up, I'm just gonna come in here. If he brings this kick up, he's gotta come up, and that's when my attack's gonna be. So all that's going through my head. But you see, my legs, where it is, it's lined up to him. My hands are lined up. So now if he moves again, and he goes here, I'm moving here. So now I take, he's kind of on a straight line, he's crouching down, he's got a little snap movement here. I'm here this way, but look at my stance, right? Both legs are lined up here, my hands are lined up here, and I have that presence. You are always taking the same stance because you're not looking at how he's doing. That's what you need to experiment with this, and that's the whole idea of catching and moving. So you really want to be, and you're a victim of that as well. Right, so you're more improved, right? You're advanced. He's kind of new at the game. So yeah, so you just want to really start to see your overall opponent. Don't get so caught up in it that you're missing your positioning. That's why I say position and move, so you guys are starting to see that. But it all has to happen instantaneously. Just like what we did in the beginning, he takes a fight position. This is my fight. My fight might just be here. Boom! My fight may be all woods come in. I go, come in, pragmatics, come in crane. All this action starts to come in. You see? You guys got it? So you've got to view your opponent, not just get here. Because all you're seeing is here. You're not seeing the whole picture. And in combat, you see that. And that's why you guys visually, bump into things. Do things like that. Yeah. You got it? It's going to take work. But shadow demons, when you're working by yourself, I'm working here. I'm playing. I'm taking positions. Right? You guys got it? All right, come on. We've got like 10 more minutes to play. So, try to see your stances, Moshe. It's going to be hard for you. Because you're a straight fighter, you're a strong fighter, you're a tough guy. I understand that. Well, like I said, there are people out there that just seem like superhuman. Fought some of those guys. Yeah.
Don't be such a rush to take the space. The reason I'm backing up is I love the opportunity to see what's going on. See, as soon as you come in, it's easy for me to see where you're going when you walk around the table. So take the opportunity to see the whole picture. You're gonna move like that, line your center up to you. That's how you just step in. But if you, I'm gonna cross that way. Let's say I'm doing the same movement immediately. Where you're stepping this way. Right? My hands cover that space. So as I come in, let's say you want to throw a hit there. See how I'm already lined up to it. It's just because I'm letting my hand cover the space. Right? So I just plot through, right? Take a second, see where you're going, and then moving. lungs to see how you keep trying to move in, don't, right? Work from your position, don't try to just go to where you're comfortable, you're comfortable, don't sprawl right here. Don't put your comfort zone.
Okay, switch it up with a different person. Catching, eye-hand coordination. Alright guys, just for closing it out, spread yourselves out all over the floor. Alright, so now you've got to face your shadow demons and your energy walls. You've got to be all freestyle movement on your own little world. You know, try not to bump into one another. And let's just see how you feel about what you're doing. So bringing all those things in, but you're fighting your shadow demons and it's all freestyle. So your stances, even though your imaginary friend is standing in front of you, are still taking stances based on what you're doing. So they're shadowing you. So they're making the same moves as you. You also have your energy walls. So this is just all freestyle. See how you do. Just do it for like a minute, and see how you feel about what you're doing out there, just with nobody in front of you. You know how your body's moving, and you've got to represent power that you do when you're standing in front of somebody. So all that comes in, catch the fly, everything we're doing comes into play. Try not to exhaust yourself, right? And keep everything in your center. And again, attitude. Practice your presence. You know, death and rebirth. Keep it alive, just like the 5-element form, right? All right, guys, ready? Go. You can bring kicking into it too, guys. Bring anything you want, your legs, everything. This is just freestyle. You should be hitting things. Everything should be coming out accurate. Put that energy wall. Put that shadow demon. Kicks going where you want them to go. Right? Kicking's a different chi. Takes more energy to lift those legs up than this there in your hand. Right? So the kicks and everything also have to come back into your center. You gotta bring it into your center. Shadow demon is shadowing you. The moves you make, it's making. The stances you take, it's taking. So you have a basis of where you're fighting from. If you're repetitive, you should see that. Okay, guys, that was 1 minute. How's your breath feeling? A little rough, right? So we'll work on your breathing too when we get down into it. Okay, so it's a ball game. You guys do those workouts because, you know, that wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Especially your kicks. Everybody's kicks really need a lot of work, but we'll do that. Now, you're going to understand chi. Chi, the energy that it takes to expand on your legs, to get your legs to move like your hands, has to come into your center before you strike. Otherwise, if you're exerting too much energy to get those legs out, it has to have a presence and strike. If you're not doing that, then your legs float, they don't come out right, you're not really attacking what's in front of you. It's a different type of energy. It commands a little bit more energy to get it there, but to get it there, you have to come from your center. So we'll be working on that down the line as well, to get you guys a little bit better with your movement. But I'm just telling you that for when you're practicing at home. You gotta pull it like, the energy has to be here. So, like, your foundation, right, is in your center, boom, right? The trigger is when it's up, and then it sets, then it throws. So it's all like, boom, right, one move, right? But if you don't even have to throw your legs, as long as you have the idea of where your leg is going, you bring that in, your leg is in the right position, you don't even have to throw it. But you should throw it because you guys are so bad at throwing, right? Just to get an idea, but it comes back. But that's all. Boom. So if you just practice and just triggering. So that is, again, what I said earlier. When you guys are here, you know, you guys are supposed to be here at 6:30. You get here, if nobody else is here, then you practice by yourself. If somebody else walks in the door, don't ignore them. Get and practice these, just work your legs. Do the stretching with throwing your legs at each other. Stand there and stretch. Get in front of a person and stretch. Work on the technique that we're working on. You got that window. If you guys don't ignore one another. You have plenty of time to practice your Tai Chi, your 5-element form and all that stuff when you're by yourself. When you're here, there's somebody here, take advantage of somebody else being here, right? It's a, work with them. Don't ignore them. Don't go in your little corner and do your Tai Chi, right? Fun's fine now, but not anymore. So now you gotta work with somebody. And then, you guys have phones, call each other up every now and then. Hey, what are you doing this Thursday? Let's go out to, Wendy's and sit and talk about some fighting strategy and, do our thing, whatever. Don't be afraid to call one another. But when you're here, start utilizing your team. Especially since it's only really the 4 of you, I can close the class out to everybody, right? So, you can utilize it, work on the stuff. If there's a particular thing you wanna work on, but I would suggest at the beginning of it, you take 5-10 minutes and you work on just kicking at each other, just to get those legs up a little bit more. Remember what I just talked about, as far as bringing it all into one. Triggers are the triggers, but it has to have that presence into here before you launch it. And then you can launch it, that's why your legs all, move where they're not supposed to move. You just need to work on that a little more. That's what I mean, it's great when you're just throwing at each other, it kind of helps you, And the person's letting you throw, like they throw 4 or 5 kicks, they practice that turn kick, and you can see your kick's going this way, okay, what the hell did I just do? You can practice it again, and it's great stretching exercises. So when you guys are here, take advantage of another person being in the room and use them. That's why I tell you guys to get here at 6:30. Before I get here and I'm running a class, and even I take my time to give you guys more time to kind of work. That's part of the practice. And don't forget what we did. You got the whole routine now, standing straight, coming here, the unsheathed sword, all the systems with the system stuff's coming in. So it's nice to remind yourself of that with another person, so you are practicing. All right, so probably soon, I don't know when, what Vic is usually on and off, we'll set once a month on that time to see through classes, which we'll be just practicing on form. And then next time, bring your computer down, somebody bring something down, we'll sit here and we'll get order the equipment and we'll do the fight classes. And that's up to you, what you want, guys want to get. Open hand gloves, mouthpiece, a cup. I really don't care if you don't wear anything out there, it's all up to you. But I don't want to get blood on the rug. So yeah.
Peroxide.
Huh?
Peroxide.
You're good at blood, you're a paramedic, but I want to try to avoid blood on the rug. So if you get your nose broken in the class, cover up. Don't dribble all over the floor, don't run, hey, it's throwing out the door, because your nose got snapped.
Do you want to put a tarp down?
For you, maybe. If it's just me and you, yeah, we'll put a tarp down. Not like little droplets all over the place. Just, control it if you do get hit. Your ear starts bleeding, anything like that there. Control your blood, man. Just don't. Like, oh, I'm bleeding. You cry like a freaking baby. You're bleeding, keep it contained. We'll try to keep, he's a paramedic, he's got stuff in his truck. We'll just put some
You got
gauze on
stuff
it.
right here, so this is a first aid training center.
Okay, well, whatever you got here, just put it on the face, we'll have it accessible, and don't bleed all over the place. Accidents happen. You're not doing that on purpose, but accidents happen, right? You're not out here we're gonna be tapping one another, but you're not gonna be, knocking each other out, right? It's gonna be the same stuff you're doing here, but you gotta tap. So you gotta tap the person. You can see if you're hit, got through, and you're kicking. So we can actually work on some of these variables we're just in the fight game too. So whenever you guys are ready to do that, you let me know, because I'm just gonna enjoy watching you guys hit each other. And the entertainment, I'll bring my popcorn. I don't eat popcorn, I'll bring something. I don't even know what the hell I eat anymore. Cookies? I don't know.
Grapes.
No, grapes, I don't eat grapes. Grapes are really high in sugar. Yeah.
Blueberries.
Blueberries. I'll bring blueberries. Yeah, blueberries. All right, guys. So you guys got the idea. Any questions about it? So you know what you went through everything. You got it in your head what we're talking about. A lot of information. The next class we'll repeat it again. I'm being consistent, and we'll do the same type of class again, so you don't even have to take that class, you know? And then, eventually, from there, we're gonna expand on it, so the next, once we do this one more time, so you guys got it in your head what you're practicing, and then we're gonna get into the blocking and footwork, and then we'll get into the kicking. And we'll also get into the form fighting, which you can't put on video either because nobody's gonna understand what the hell that is, right? But it'll be cool, right? So hopefully we'll break into that. I'm keeping my promise basically to Vic and keeping consistent with what we're doing and not varying off of it, right? So it may be a little bit more, but not too much more. And you guys are improving. But when you guys are all doing your freestyle, I won't even tell you what what I saw with that, right? Right? You got to get a little bit better fighting your shadow demons. They're kicking your ass, right? Even though they're moving with you, you're moving, like, not working, right? So try to practice that a little bit. Time yourself. You saw a minute, you guys were running out of air, right? That was a minute. It seemed like an eternity. And time 2 minutes. Time is 3 minutes. What do rounds go for?
It depends.
What do they normally go for, like a professional fight?
2 minute rounds.
2 minute rounds. Try to get out there for 2 minutes and do that. With the intent of striking hard. Don't go out there, get out there, boom, like feel it, man. You're gonna run out of air really quickly. Okay? You're gonna have a little bit more appreciation for those guys that are in the ring trying to run for, they try to take them out the first round, they're just gonna have all the energy, and after a while, and they're enduring, how many rounds does this fight go for? 5?
Rounds.
5, 6 rounds? What does the pro boxing rounds go for?
10 rounds, I think.
10 rounds? My God.
Well,
Huh? 12?
I think it depends on the boxing federation you want.
Oh. So if Mike Tyson is fighting a professional fight with another guy, how many rounds does that go?